Okay, so my friend Sleepy14 was suggesting that I do a YouTube video on how and why to use the training room. So let's just take a look at that. So to get into the training room, you choose your battle type, and we're going to choose a training battle. Now, the reason why you want to use the training room, a couple of reasons. Well, a lot of the competitions use them, like King of the Seas. They set up a training battle, and they have all the setups for divisions and everything. And then sometimes we set up divisions in our clans and have just fun battles. But the best reason to use this is so that you can try out different things. You can practice with different types of ships, like if you are trying to learn how to be better in a aircraft carrier or a submarine, then you have that as an option. You can also try out your armor resilience, they call it right here. This is where I'm going to test out my guns on my Burgoon against different types of ships. And so I have set up a training room. I'm using the map Ocean so that I don't have any islands in the way. You can choose any of the maps that you want to, but Ocean is the best one when all you're trying to do is get to your test ships and don't have to mess around with islands in the way. You can do this in different modes. Most common ones that you would see like in a tournament is the domination mode. But when you do the armor resilience test, you don't have any caps or anything like that. It's just the ships will be right there where you can easily reach them. So that's the one that I am choosing. I have set up 30 minutes so that I can mess around and I don't have my timer run out. I want 3 ships in the opposition. I could set up more. I can set up just one other one. As far as restrictions, you can choose whether it's going to be subs on subs or just aircraft carriers or whatever. But if you just leave it open, then you get to pick what you want and then you can pick what the bots are going to be. There's no reason to make the training room private. I'm not going to have anybody else coming in here, but I could allow spectators. If this was King of the Seas, for instance, then yes. And again, if I want to hide the enemy ships and I have to go hunt them down, like you might in an aircraft carrier, then you can hide them. But we're not trying to do anything like that at this point. So let's just create our training battle and then get this out of the way because I don't have anybody else in my division. I will be in my own division. I am going to add players, and you can have live players if you have a group of friends wanting to get together, or we can just have bots when you're just doing training like I am. You can choose whether the bot is moving or whether it is armed. I don't want the bot moving and I don't want it armed because I am testing out my Burgoon's heavy hitting guns against the broadsides of a group of different ships. So I'm going to pick from 3 different ships. I think I will pick out a UK ship, and I'm going to pick out, oh, let's try the Conqueror. It is famous for having a very large citadel, easy to hit. So when I click add, now I have the Conqueror there. Then I'm going to add another one, and this time instead of it being the Conqueror, let's pick something that's a little harder to hit, such as the Montana. Whoops. Come back over and down, and then add. And then last, let's try one of the heavily armed Russian battleships, like the Kremlin, and click Add. Okay, so now I have 3 opponents, 3 battleships, and then I have mine. I'll click on Ready, then I will click on Battle. And then you'll have your normal wait time, just like you always do. 30 seconds of waiting. Now you can see it's a wide open map. We don't have any caps or anything like that. So the bots are going to appear pretty much right in front of me here in just a bit when the timer runs out. Okay. There are my target ships. You're listening to my Santa Claus captain in the background. I got a French Santa Claus a year or 2 ago, and he's worked his way up to 20 points, driving around in Marceau and Bourgogne and Bayard. Pretty good captain, too. A lot of fun. But he pulls no punches when it comes time for shooting. Okay, we will start out with that Kremlin that we see over on the far side.
Engine boost activated.
So I've preloaded armor piercing AP. I'm going to get within 5 kilometers or so, simulating a drive-by shooting. Sometimes you end up much closer than that, but 5K will be a reasonable amount. Then I'll do my best to get broadside to broadside. Okay, now we'll fire 1 round right underneath his front guns. Got 4 citadels, 9 pins, so obviously that's a good place to be hitting a Kremlin. Now I'm going to try right underneath his stacks. Yeah, well, that did a job on him.
Destroyed.
Okay, now we'll get over here for the Conqueror. Only 2 citadels. Now, I have one-shot a Conqueror before, so that probably wasn't as well placed as I would have wished for. Go right underneath his stacks, just like we did on the Kremlin. 1 shot under the forward guns, 1 shot under the stacks. Okay.
Enemy battleship sunk.
Pretty much the same deal. Now, a Montana.
Engine boost deactivated.
A little closer to the Montana than I was to the other 2, but I have found that the Montana is actually a tougher ship to put down. You can citadel them. Okay, 1 underneath its front guns. Okay, got the citadels. And then 1 underneath the stacks. Oh,
Enemy severely damaged.
Montana is just tough enough. Okay. Well, we'll finish 1 off underneath the rear guns. Unfortunately, we can't test out whether his heel would have helped him or not. All right.
Enemy
And
battleship destroyed.
that is a test of armor resilience and whether or not my Burgone is capable of one-shotting any of these ships. Now I know we can one-shot a Conqueror because I've done it, but I'm pretty sure I can't one-shot either of the other two. All right, so once you're done with your test, you can either repeat, and I have done that where I'm testing out different types of armaments, like if I want to use um, high explosive or semi armor piercing rounds and things like that, just to see how much damage those will produce. So that concludes our video on the training room.